Citizen 93.7 FM, and it's our election special. We are looking at everything elections today, taking calls from Nigerians, and also having live updates from our reporters from across the country, and not forgetting analysis from our experts. So it's going to be a full day for everyone here on Citizen FM 93.7. And yes, the election proper. A presidential election, especially in Nigeria, it's something that comes every 4 years. It's like the World Cup. And if you know the blades and glades that trail the World Cup, then you can imagine if you reduce that to Nigeria, that's what is happening in Nigeria today. This is a journey that started a few years ago, but for the politicians, it started much longer than that. Trust politicians. Some of them are already planning for the 2027 presidential election. But then that's a story for another day. In December 2016, the Nigerian government recorded a video which eventually went viral. The clip had the current Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and some former Nigerian leaders singing for a peaceful Nigeria in the year 2017. The former leaders joined Vice President Osinbajo to sing the popular hymn, "Oh God, Our Help in Ages Past," which was written by Isaac Watts. The ex-leaders include a former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, former chairman of the interim national government, Chief Ernest Shonekan, former Vice President, Chief Alex Ekweme, a former Chief of General Staff, Commodore Ebitu Kiwe, and another former Chief of General Staff, General Oladipo Dia. These leaders spoke on the need to have a Nigeria of a dream, which should become a reality. Each of them spoke about Nigeria's unity and love for our fatherland, even in trying periods. Today we go back memory lane. We go back memory lane to bring back that hymn in the spirit of the season. As we go to polls today, let's not forget that Nigeria is all we have, and it behoves on us to make it work.
Continue to grant us that peace and unity that this country dearly deserves.
God created Nigeria as we are, and God doesn't make a mistake. We should thank God for that.
We must continue to work hard to make sure that we achieve the desired results.
In spite of the mess we try to make of the country, He manages always to rescue us when we get to the edge of the precipice, and we thank Him for that.
I am grateful to the Almighty God for accepting and accommodating us despite the mess we've made of ourselves in the country.
We are grateful to the President and the Vice President for thinking it fit to call us together to join in this festival of today.
God has done us a great turn by providing everything that we need to live abundantly, to live prosperously.
to God to continue to grant us that peace and unity that this country dearly deserves.
God created Nigeria as we are, and God doesn't make a mistake. We should thank God for that.
We must continue to work hard to make sure that we achieve the desired results.
In spite of the mess we try to make as a country, He manages always to rescue us when we get to the edge of the precipice, and we thank Him for that.
I am grateful to the Almighty God for accepting and accommodating us despite the mess we've made of ourselves in the country.
We are grateful to the President and the Vice President for thinking it fit to call us together to join in this festival of today.
God has done us a great turn by providing everything that we need to live abundantly, to live prosperously.
Yes, that was a hymn by former Nigerian leaders. Oh God, I hope in ages past. We had the voice of General Yakubu Gowon, who was head of state between 1967 and 1976. We also had Chief Alex Ekweme, who was vice president between 1979 to 1983, and also Commodore Ebitu Kiwe, who was the chief of staff between 1985 and 1986, and then General Olusegun Obasanjo, head of state between 1976 and 1979, and later elected president between 1999 and 2007. We also had Chief Ernest Shonekan, head of the interim national government between August 26, 1993 to 17th November 1993. And not forgetting, we also had General Oladipo Dia. He was a former chief of general staff from 1994 to 1997. And then we had the voice of Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, current Vice President from 2015 to date. So that was their own way of talking about Nigeria's unity and how Nigerians should protect the fatherland no matter the odds, because there is hardly any other country we have done this. So it's still a live transmission from Citizen 93.5 FM here in Abuja. It's Citizens Decide, as we look at the presidential and the House of and the National Assembly elections, which come up today. Voting is expected to commence around 8:30. So, but you can join us on a live stream on YouTube. Type in Citizen FM 93.7. You can also listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng. And you can also follow us on our social media platforms, on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. We will take a short break now, and when we return, then we will go into the program proper. Once again, let's remind ourselves how great a nation we are as Nigeria.
What is that? You will there's hope for us all. Our land, where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. Though we are many people, different tribes, different tongues, we're united in our strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come. And for generations to come. We'll defend.
Thank you for staying tuned, and thank you for hooking up on us on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja, in our live studio. The 2023 general elections consist of a presidential election, governorship elections in 28 states, and 1,462 legislative elections representing 109 Senate seats, 360 House of Representatives seats, and 993 state houses of assembly seats. That's the elections that we are looking at today and in 2 weeks' time. But for today is the presidential election and that of the National Assembly. And as you prepare to vote, what is the qualification for voting? Listen to this. Number one, you must be a Nigerian and of 18 years or above. That's the first qualification you need, the first requirement you need. Number two, you must be registered. That means you must have your PVC. Number three, you must be in possession of that PVC, and you must appear in person at the polling unit. So, you must have the PVC and you must go to the polling unit physically. You cannot afford to send your son with your card and say, okay, you know what, Junior, please just dash down the road and just help me cast my ballot. No. You must appear in person. Then when you get to the polling unit, the voter will vote in the polling unit where his or her name is listed. So, this is another important thing. I'm sure by now, because in the last 2 weeks, information was around, please identify your polling unit on time so that today is not the day to start looking for where your polling unit is. The election will run from 8:30 to 2 p.m. today. So anytime from 8:30, you are expected to be at your polling unit. However, voters in the queue or on or before 2:30 p.m. will be allowed to vote. That means if you are already on the queue and the time is 2:30, you will not be sent back. You will be allowed to vote no matter what, as long as you appeared at the polling unit before 2:30 p.m. Then registered voters are to be at their polling units. Yes, I said that before 8 a.m. Now, the presiding officers or assistant presiding officers, you will have them in categories. You have PO 1, 2, or 3. That's presiding officers 1, 2, or 3 will ask the voters to present their permanent voter card for accreditation using the Bimodal Voter Authentication System, BVAS. When you get to the polling booth, the polling unit, the PO will ask you to present your PVC for accreditation. The voter is expected to check and be sure his or her name is on the register of voters in that particular unit. So when you get to the polling unit and you approach the officer, register will be checked to see if your name is there. If the voter's name is in the register, the BVAS will match his fingerprint and or his face, one of which must successfully identify the voter as the owner of the PVC presented to the official before he will be allowed to vote. So you see why you cannot vote by proxy, because that will check your fingerprint and also your also need to authenticate your facial recognition. If the BVAS fails to recognize the voter's fingerprint, the facial recognition function of the BVAS will be used to verify and accredit the voter. If the above steps are completed, a poll official will check for the voter's name in the register of voters and take it. So you get there, present your card, they authenticate you, check your name is there, they take, you now move to the next level, as we say. However, if the BVAS fails to recognize a voter's fingerprints as well as his facial photograph, the voter will not be allowed to vote. An indelible ink will be applied to the cuticle of the voter's finger. A stamped, signed, and dated ballot paper will be issued to the voter afterward. The voter will go to the voting cubicle to mark his or her choice on the ballot paper in secret. The voter will ensure that the ink does not smear into other parts of the ballot paper to avoid having his or her vote rejected. The ballot paper should be folded vertically, and he or she will not be allowed to take photographs of the ballot paper when in the voting cubicle. The voter will drop the marked ballot paper in the ballot box in full view of all present. So that's the final phase. After the accreditation, you are handed over a ballot paper which has been signed and stamped, and off to the cubicle you go without your phones, and then you will be required to thumbprint. And now this is where it gets tricky. When you want to thumbprint, make sure that you thumbprint inside the box of your preferred party and not across one box to another. If you do that, the vote will become invalid. And when you finish thumbprinting, no need to fold it horizontally, because if you do, the ink will stain other boxes of other candidates and it will render your vote invalid. You would have ended up wasting your time. After casting his or her vote, the voter is free to remain 300 meters from the polling area to witness sorting, counting, and the announcement of result, provided the voter is orderly and does not disrupt process. So, you know what that means. After voting, you can stay around, provided you do not interfere with the process going on. So, it means that this is not a blanket privilege. If you become rowdy, the security agencies or agents can forcefully take you out of the polling unit. So you need need to be orderly. Then, results shall be collated at the polling unit and various other levels. Various other levels depending on the type, after which they are announced by INEC. From the polling units, the result will be transmitted electronically to INEC website. The presiding officer will take the result to the ward headquarters, where the result of all polling units will be collated and sent to the local government area headquarters. From the local government level, it will be sent to the state capital and INEC headquarters in Abuja. So, essentially, that's the procedure for voting today, so that you know exactly what you're doing. Number one, make sure that you have your PVC. Number two, go there physically, not by proxy. Number three, do your accreditation. Number four, get a ballot paper. Number five, enter the cubicle. Number six, vote properly. Make sure your thumbprint inside the box and not between one box and the other. That will render your vote invalid. And then number three, come out, drop your ballot paper, and then wait around if you want, or go home and await the result. That's essentially what you need to do today.
Where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still
Different tones where you're not.
Thank you for staying tuned. Apologies to that. Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Citizen FM 93.7, and it's our election series, live feeds from our studios in Abuja. Citizens decide. It's the presidential election and the National Assembly elections. In about 20 minutes or thereabout, the polling centers, polling units will be expected to be opened, and 84 Nigerians, or a million Nigerians or thereabouts, will be expected to cast their ballot. It's going to be a huge day. It's a historical day in Nigeria, and it's a day that we also need to make the best use. And to help me do this, I have he's a friend. He's also a member of the team. He's been one of our supports persons, our resource persons. Philemon Kuko is on the line, and I'm sure he will help us understand a few things. Hi, good morning, Philemon.
Good morning, Lawrence. How are you doing today? How's Citizen FM and all the folks there?
Yeah, we thank God, and thank you for intervening. Thank you for also agreeing to speak to us this morning.
It's okay.
Yes, but quickly, I'm sure everyone talks about how historical today is, but let's look at it deeply. How important is this election to the Nigerian nation?
Well, I believe it's not just this election. Every election is important because it determines how the country would move along in a 4-year period, a 4-year cycle. So we've come through this a number of times since 1999, and so this one is as important as every other one. But the reason perhaps why people are looking at this more closely is because of the uniqueness of the fact that we have 3 front runners or so, or 3 or 4 front runners. So there's a good spread in terms of where the votes will come from and what votes will go to whom. So it's going to be something to watch. Where everybody is excited, everybody is expectant. We want to see how the data will sit at the end of the day. There's been a lot of analysis all over the place, but in the next few hours, the data will all go to their cubicles, and Nigerians will have the opportunity to see what everyone has been looking forward to.
Okay, Fairman, let's also look at the issue of transition. I think this is the longest we've had since independence. I'm talking about unbroken democratic transition. Since 1999 to date, that's about 20-something years. It's really not happened before. Is this a sign that our democracy is getting rooted?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go.
Yeah. Okay, that is one way to look at it. And that's the reason why I chuckled when I heard people talking about interim governments, and when I heard about some so-called generals having secret meetings and all that. I think we have gone beyond all of those things. And as the big brother of Africa, we need to show example. And so there are things that I consider to be teething problems. Those teething problems should be behind us by now, so that we can show that example that we need to be showing. You recall that we've had a number of coups in the West African region, and Nigeria is usually one that will jump into the boat and make an example of those guys. Say, no, you can't do this. You can't do this anymore. So why would it will be really shocking if Nigeria goes back to that kind of environment. But the fact that you have had a complete run over 20-something years does not necessarily in itself mean that progress is being made. And people should understand that. It could just be that, as they say in this part of the world, if they manage, they move forward. Election cycles are things that are supposed to be normal. They should be part of the norm. They should come and go as they are scheduled to come and go. But what you do with the new leadership, with the new crop of people who are coming in, how they move the country from point A to B in terms of welfare, in terms of use of resources, in terms of growing the GDP, in terms of putting behind us some of those problems that have been there for decades. I think that is a better and more efficient measure than just saying we have had elections and we've had democratically elected people from 4 years to another 4 years. That is my take, really.
Okay, still talking about the election. In this year's election, from the data released by INEC, we seem to have an upsurge in interest shown by Nigerian youths, younger Nigerians. Do you think their interest, their enthusiasm will in any way can influence how the election goes in a particular way?
There's something we must also take into consideration where we are analyzing that data. People have been unusually enthusiastic, yes, because there is an upsurge in the number of young people that have registered. But you must also take into consideration the spread of that data, where are the young people coming from? Historically, when you look at protests in Nigeria, normally, most of it comes from the southwest. Then it spreads to the south and perhaps the southeast. That has always been the norm. Now, if you look at the electoral law says you must have the highest number of voters. That's number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have the 25% in two-thirds of the country. That is the spread. So I have not seen yet a lot of interpretation in terms of the spread of this upsurge in the registration of voters for young people. If you talk about young people in the north, what are they thinking? What is their mindset? If you talk about young people in the southwest, what are they thinking? What is their mindset? So we need to see that data. We need to see interpretation of that data so that we know that if they express that enthusiasm at the polling unit, we need to find out how it will affect the overall result. But as we speak, I don't think much energy has been spent on analyzing that data in terms of the spatial nature of that data and how it will affect. So if you have a good number of youths, say, from the south, voting for a particular candidate, what will be the effect in terms of the spread? There will be a question mark there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
If you do not have the spread across, then that candidate is not necessarily helped. So if, for instance, candidate A harvests 100% of vote in 1, 2, 3 states, yes, moving towards a final tally, that could help. But it will only help if you have that spread across.
Exactly.
That is the question that we have not addressed. And that is also what I am expecting to see in the final analysis of the data coming from today's election.
Okay, Femo, let's also look at INEC, because today all eyes are on INEC as the electoral umpire. Now, if you look at the sheer logistic challenge of holding a presidential election in a country like Nigeria, the deployment of over 1 million personnel and a coverage of about the polling units over 100,000 and everything. Now, can we get to a time that INEC would not, as a body, be unnecessarily burdened with some of this logistic challenge? For example, transportation, for example, printing of ballot papers, for example, so many other issues. Can we find a situation where we provide, as a country, we have agencies, institutions responsible for a lot of all these things, and INEC will just concentrate on conduct of the election?
Well, INEC, as far as I'm concerned, is doing a wonderful job. And I say that in the light of what we have thrown in front of INEC. Whatever problems that INEC may have is not inherent in INEC itself. It is imposed on INEC either by government or by policies of government, as we see today. For instance, shortage of petroleum products, shortage of cash, and all that. These are problems that we have thrust upon INEC. Ordinarily, once you make the money available, and you remember the Electoral Act says that the money that INEC needs to do its own operation for an election should be released to INEC 1 full year before. Now, that clears the issue of money. But then there is also the issue of logistics, as you have mentioned. It is incumbent upon INEC to do all those arrangements. So once you get as it were, the rules free of any encumbrances, INEC should be able to function properly. And INEC has acquainted itself very well. I was having a conversation with MS the other day on radio and said, of all the parties to election, it's only INEC that has made so much progress in terms of advancement. And perhaps we should also commend the National Assembly for putting together a new electoral act. Now, this new electoral act will also make INEC even more efficient, because some of the things that used to tie the hands of INEC have been broken. Some of those chains have been broken. So the only problem we might talk about now is the one that has been occasioned by the government. And government should understand that during an election period, the election itself is a huge logistic nightmare. So government should not do anything that will create problems for INEC. But I am hoping that INEC will be able to overcome the challenges and ensure that the election holds properly.
Okay, still talking about the burden. Another one, apart from the logistic issue, is the issue of the legal battles among politicians. This is also a huge distraction to the electoral umpire. 3 days ago, the chairman said on a single day, I think 3 or 4 days before the end of campaigns, a particular party served INEC 70 court papers on a day. Single day, one political party, 70. So you can imagine what happens. And INEC, every legal battle they have in court, INEC is part of, is added. And this is also a big distractions. Have political parties in any way learnt any lessons?
They have not learnt anything. And the way they are going, it appears to me that they will not learn. I was suggesting to Raymond that we might even set aside time to look at that. If I tell you how much that is a problem to INEC, you will not believe it. The fact that the political parties cannot conduct themselves well. As we speak, some parties don't know. Let me reverse that. INEC does not know who will be on the ballot for some political parties.
Exactly.
Now, why is that? That is in place because people who are offering themselves for service, so-called, people who say they want to rescue Nigeria, cannot conduct themselves according to the letters of the constitution of their own party. That is one. Number two, you have lords of the manor. These are people who just have this they have this exaggerated self-importance. They believe that they should determine who has what, who goes where, and nobody else should intervene. And when that happens, you have the governors, especially the governors. They will determine who should run for House of Reps, they will determine who should run for the Senate, they will determine who should run for local government chairman, who should even run for councillors. So, I don't understand that. If you say you are running a democracy, and democracy is the voice of the people, why are we so afraid to open the process up? Why? Why is that? And when you do this imposition, what it brings out in the first place, and I mentioned this to Ernest in the radio discussion, that you bring out, there's this study that was done by 2 Harvard professors, and they call it the comparative advantage of bad politicians. When the system is compromised, it will usually throw up people who are not qualified. It will throw up people who are not fit for election. So sometimes we are even under the illusion that the mere fact that we are going to an election people have the opportunity to vote for the best candidate. That is a fallacy. You're only voting for the candidates who have been put forward by the political parties. So if the political parties put up idiots across board, you'll be voting for idiots. If the political parties put up thieves, you'll be voting for thieves. That's the way it is. So maybe something, let me put it this way, maybe the National Assembly should, going forward, take another look at the electoral process and be more restrictive on the behavior of politicians on pre-election matters. As it is now, the law washes its hands from pre-election matters in such a way that when things are not properly done, people go to court. And as at the last time, if I remember correctly, there were about 1,000 plus election cases in court for pre-election matters. Mm-hmm. So now you have an electoral body that is focused on giving the country a free and fair election. Then you have the same electoral body that is those who are determining who should and who should not be. That is not the business of judges. The business of selecting candidates is that of the political party. And there is a process because they have it in their own constitution. But the disregard makes it almost practically impossible for INEC to be focused on what they are supposed to be doing. So what do we do about politicians who are not behaving properly? I want to believe that the reason they do that is because they have not been punished sufficiently. I don't think they have even been punished at all. When people do not abide by the constitution of their own parties, what is the punishment? How do we deal with those people? Because we are giving them a hand slap, if there's a slap at all, that is why we are having all this mess. And this mess will continue all till the election is over and thereafter, because I think the National Assembly should look at it going forward.
360 in the House of Us, or there are people who are supposed to be focused on lawmaking, representation, and oversight. Do we really have an idea of what members of the National Assembly should do?
I don't think we do. When they are being evaluated, they are evaluated based on these ancillary issues of what did you bring to the state. That is also part of their function all over the world. That is the norm. But it is not their principal function.
Okay.
Their principal function is to make laws for the betterment of all Nigerians, irrespective of where they come from. And if you want to judge them, that is the basis that should be used to judge them. The world. You also look at for your constituency. You also look at for your state. You influence things to your state, to your people. That is the way you can make yourself visible, make yourself relevant to the people on the ground, because you can't be good to everybody and then you turn around and you are not good to your own people. So that is there. But we must look beyond that to see the quality of laws that are made at the center. When you don't have the laws properly made, you can see what happened between 2015 and 2022. In the 2019 election, some of the holes in the Electoral Act were cured. You remember the smart card reader was a big deal in 2015. You remember that?
Yes.
There was so much controversy over it. And by 2019, that changed a little bit because provisions were now made in the Electoral Act. Now, in this 2022 Electoral Act, it is even been made better because there is now a clause that mentions the card reader or what they call the beavers. Part, the beaver. There's a twist to the wording, which gives INEC an open-ended check to do whatever it wants with respect to employing technology.
Yeah.
So the hands of INEC is no longer tied to maybe a smart card reader or a beaver. The word says, and any other electronic device that could be used. So that opens the road for INEC to do what it wants to do. Then you also see how the electoral law has taken care of candidates that died before the election.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the Kogi case that brought in the current governor and all the controversies that you remember a few other cases like that across the country. So you now have, I think it's Enugu Senate seat where the candidate is reported dead, right? And provisions have been made. Express provisions have been made on how, so you don't have to go to court to interpret anything. INEC will take a decision based on the express law or as stated in the Electoral Act. So these things happen because people have given some careful thinking to the previous provisions of the law and how they have affected the efficiency of the process. So what that also means is that going forward, those who are aspiring to be at the National Assembly should also be looking at some of the issues, some of the bottlenecks in this electoral act, because no act is perfect. You look at the hiccups, look at the bottlenecks, and then in the next election cycle, you now take these things into consideration. What that means is that people who are starting to go to the National Assembly should be people of sound mind, should be people who are serious mind, not some charlatans who will go there and begin to disturb the peace of the country. It also means that you, as a lawmaker, you need a standard library, whether physical or electronic. You need researchers, people who will look at our history, our electoral history, our elections, and advise you as a lawmaker. That is the proper thing to do. You do not bring some admins from your local government to come and be your personal aide. That will not help you, and that will not also help the country.
Okay.
The lawmaker needs proper staffing, adequate staffing, in order to help the country move forward.
Okay, Philemon, before I let you go, shouldn't we also be worried about the high turnover of our lawmakers? From 1999, available data suggests that we've not had a 50% return of lawmakers in any election cycle. Isn't this worrisome?
Well, it could be worrisome if you do not have a sitting pool of qualified people. If you have a sitting pool of qualified people, then the reason why somebody should be there forever. There are some institutions of this country where you have president of this, the president of that, and they are there forever. They don't have the knowledge better than those who have been there forever. It's not everybody who has been there forever that is really contributing. I hope you know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people are just there seeking this. So such people should be kicked out. I don't worry about that. Are we saying that younger persons or fresh minds they can't contribute? I have not been to the National Assembly, but I know what is going there. If, for instance, I find myself at the National Assembly today, I don't think I will be overwhelmed because I will know what to do. So if you have a pool of and process of lawmaking, yes, we should have the turnover. But that does not necessarily mean that everybody should be thrown away. There are some people that are killers people who have become what we call them in stockbroking. We call them donors. Do you understand? It's just like in law, when the Supreme Court wants to make certain judgment, there's what they call friends of the court. Even the Supreme Court judges reach out to lawyers who are not judges to advise them properly. So you should have some of such pillars in the house. Then you have a new breed of people who are coming with new ideas, who are thinking about contemporary issues, because the country moves on and the country faces new challenges, and these new challenges need new thinking. Not people who will tell you this is how we do it. Those are people that are shackled to the past. So there should be some turnover. The proportion and the ratio will be open for judgment, but I don't think it's something we should worry about. You should only worry if those who are coming are not qualified. I know of my own state where an individual is imposing the daughter on the seat available at the House of Representatives. And this lady is in the State House of Assembly. She does not turn up for hearing. She's more often than not, she's outside the country. But so you wonder, why does an ex-governor want to bring such a human being to the center? To do what? Meanwhile, you have a young man there who is very enterprising, who is contributing. That is what we should be afraid of.
All right. Thank you so much, Philemon. I'm sure we may have to bring you back later in the day when voting has commenced. Thank you for your insights so far on the program. It's been such a pleasure listening to you.
It's my pleasure, Lawrence, and you have a good day.
All right. We will take a short break now, and when we return, we will reach out to some of our correspondents across the country. It's already 8:39, and according to the INEC timetable, elections are supposed to have started by 8:30. So let's find out whether this is the situation across the country. Citizens decide on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. We will return after this break. Please don't go away.
So untiring as the viewers, ever so dedicated. So I will be my time I shall give forever and always will be mine. Give to my nation. To some the skill of craft, to weave a cloth, oh like yours and mine. To others, a voice to sing and raise a rebel. Even more has the gift to guide and lead the way, to fight, to heal, to make a place of peace. This is the gift that others have. Some the wealth, some the wisdom, and the sway. To each a gift, to give no matter how small, to build a place of home. My little gift, I will give, to make the dream come true. So untiring, as a viewers, never so dedicated. So I will be my time I shall get forever and always will be mine. Give to my nation. Hey, yeah. Great is the dream our founders had, to build a land where all are free. Yes, hey, a land of peace where you can be all you want to be. Now it's a dream. I do believe that we can try. Knowing what I get now will make my tomorrow. I'll do my best for Nigeria. Nigeria can count on me. Can count on me.
So will be my talent shall give forever and always will give.
It's my nation.
Abuja, 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 Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, Abuja. Friends, Nigerians, countrymen, lend me your ears. Let me tell you about Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, Abuja, Abuja. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, Abuja, Abuja. I have a dream of the ideal Abuja, a place where it works for the goose and the gander, a place where the public servant is doing service and getting service in return. You know, the basics: security of lives and property, portable water, good roads and electricity. Not too much to ask, not too much to give. In the big city we live in, the Abuja of my dreams. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, Abuja, Abuja. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, Abuja, Abuja. And Abuja where the people don't litter. Trash out of car windows make me bitter. Little drops of waste compose a mighty heap. My people, let's start acting, cause talk is cheap. Our attitude has got to change. Why we can't do the right thing to me is strange. Keep Abuja clean. The Abuja dream is to stick to the master plan. You know what I mean? Abuja, 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 Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, Abuja. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, let me tell you about. Let me tell you about. Let me. Who say to Asokoro, Nyanya to Karimo, FCT at 30 is shining. Karigo, big city of pride, big city of dreams, the city of cities, the creme de la creme. It's good for me. It's good for you. It's good for us, and that's a plus. If it's good for me, it's good for you. It's good for us, and that's the Abuja of my dreams. Yes, oh, yes, oh. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, 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 Abuja of my dreams. Abuja of my dreams. Abuja, let me tell you, Abuja, let me tell you, Abuja, let me, Abuja of my dreams. Let me tell you about Abuja of my dreams. Let me tell you about Abuja, let me tell you, Abuja, let me tell you, Abuja, let me, Abuja of my dreams. Let me tell you about Abuja of my dreams. Let me tell you about Abuja, let me tell you, Abuja, let me tell you, Abuja, let me, Abuja of my dreams. Abuja. Abuja. Abuja.
Deep in the heart of my motherland lies the pride of every African. She was born only 3 decades ago, but it is such an amazement how she has grown from simple footpaths to streets of gold, from mud huts to palaces that always to own.
Thank you for staying tuned to Citizen FM 93.7. It's still Citizens Decide 2023 election. Today is the D-Day, presidential and National Assembly elections. By INEC timetable, election should be underway by now. So we have a bumper package for you throughout the day. We promise to bring you all the details from across Nigeria through our correspondents, and also we also have a team of analysts who will help in making sense of what is happening throughout today. You can join us on our live stream on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. And also don't forget, you can also call us. Our phone lines are open already, 0903 2229 797 or 0818 2222205 or 0818 2222206. Any of these numbers, you can also send us a WhatsApp message and let's know your thoughts. It's election day. What do you think about being part of this history? What do you think about today's election? What do you think about Nigeria electing a new president and also members of the National Assembly? Nigeria is really on the threshold of history, and it's glad that we are all part of this history. We are also glad to be alive so that history will also record our roles today for generations yet unborn. So that's how we're going to roll today, and in the next couple of minutes we'll be reaching out to some of our correspondents from across Nigeria to see what is happening in the field. But before we go to our correspondents, let's even take a look at how will a president emerge. How will this president that we are voting for today, how would that president emerge? What is the constitutional requirement for the emergence of a president? Now, well, if we look at our constitution, it says that the candidate who will emerge president must secure the highest number of votes cast in today's election, and he must also secure a quarter of the votes cast in 2/3 of the states and the Federal Capital Territory. This is mandatory. So it's not just enough to have the highest number of votes. You also need to have at least 25% in at least 24 states. Then, if no candidate secures this highest number of votes and the mandatory threshold, the Constitution says we must have a second election within 21 days, and that's where the issue of runoff comes in. In the runoff election, not all the candidates are going to participate. Out of the 18 candidates that will be on the ballot for the election, highest number of states. So, what this means is that if there is no outright winner in the first ballot, the second ballot will be between one, the candidate with the highest number of votes overall. Then two, the candidate with the highest number of votes in the highest number of states. The number one and number two will now go for a runoff. No, except the number two also have the highest number of votes in the highest number of states. Note, the Constitution did not say the one who came second would be in the second election. So it's not automatic. For the presidential poll, the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, who is the chief electoral officer, is expected to announce the results. And that will be done at the Coalition Center here in Abuja. The commission says it is prepared for the second election if the situation arises, taking into consideration the fact that it will be difficult to engage in reverse logistics and then begin to look for printers to print 93 million ballot papers before the commission start thinking of how to move them to the states, local government wards and polling units. So INEC in effect says it has already planned ahead for that. So if it comes, fine. If it doesn't come, fine. Then we'll move on. So that's how it's going to be. We will start getting reports, updates from our correspondents across Nigeria. It's still Citizens Decide on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. My name is Lawrence Moite. It's 9 o'clock already. So if we are to go by INEC timetable, people should already be on the queues around the country. Let's see what is happening across Nigeria. We'll be reaching out to some of our correspondents from across Nigeria. Let's get to some of them.
Namana sauka sai ilori shata ya sauka shaka mu mamanya sauka kajin mutum bene badu mun zo ikon mun huta mun kon mun je ajeje mun huta mun koma mi tayaban manzo mun koma mi tayaban manzo Allah samu ga annabi Muhammadu ya tsaya ga annabi Muhammad ya la samu ga annabi Muhammadu na tsaya ga annabi Muhammadu kowa tsaya ga
us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle to stay alive. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle to stay alive. Somebody tell me, oh, why the fight is? One love can set us free if we just let it be. Take off in a brand new day. Good love is all we need to chase the clouds away. Never need worry if you just let it free. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle to stay alive. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle to stay alive. You never need words, no. Let one love set you free.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Citizen FM 93.7, and it's Citizens Decide ahead of the elections which have already commenced in Nigeria. And as I said earlier, we are reaching out to our correspondents from across the country. We have Fred Ojime here. He's in Abuja here, and he's going to give us an update of what is happening in his area. Fred, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Yes, thank you, Lawrence Moite in the studio. So it's all crowded here at Duse Baba polling unit in Ambak Area Council of the capital city of Nigeria. And the time here is 9 o'clock. Over 600 voters arrived before 7 a.m. There is no INEC officials or representatives. All eyes are on the INEC officials up till now. They are not here, and there's no representative. The security agencies arrived as early as 7:20 a.m. and the voters are here. There are a lot of people with fears and panic that the elections might not hold. I've interacted with few of them, feeling that the elections might not hold, but we are hoping that the officials will come any moment from now.
And Fred, are there security personnel around there?
I didn't get that. Please come again.
Are there security personnel? Is there any threats to security? Okay, Fred, I think you can go ahead. What's the security situation like there now?
Basically, there are no threats. Everywhere is calm, and just that people are panicking that the elections are not over. But the security situation is calm. Everyone is calm and collected. I'm waiting for INEC to come and voting comment.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Fred. Maybe we will get back to you later when we will try and reach out to the INEC officials in their situation room.
Thank you.
Give us the polling unit name again.
This is Baba Yusuf polling unit.
Okay, in Amak council area. Okay, thank you so much, Fred, for your intervention. That's our correspondent, Fred Jimmy, giving us an update in that polling unit that ADEC officials are yet to be around and the people are becoming agitated. But, well, there's really no cause for people to become too agitated. It's still early hours of the day, and maybe, just maybe, in the next couple of minutes, those officials would arrive. So, as we said, that's an update from Amak here. We also have some of our other colleagues in line. We'll try to bring them on as soon as we are able to reach them.
Fight was no more. African should shed blood no more. African should fight was no more. Will you stop all your coup? Allow democracy to reign. I say, will you stop all your trouble? Will you give peace a chance? Nigeria won't fight was no more. Nigerians don't want fight war no more. Liberia shouldn't shed blood again. Zimbabwe will never fight war no more.
Yeah, thank you for staying tuned. We won't fight war. Today is not a day of war. Today is a day for election. A day that Nigerians will employ a new president and also members of the National Assembly. Yes, I have another of my colleague online here, Chukwu Ebuka Jeremiah, the one we call Ezenwo in the house. Good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, Lawrence.
Good morning, Ezenwo. Just bring us up to speed. Where are you and what is happening there?
All right. Right now, I'm in Life Camp area. Precisely, I'm in a place called Efab Estate in Life Camp area. It's still under Amak in Abuja here. What's happening for now? We have about 7 polling units in the estate, Efab Estate, and so far, none of the polling units have started accreditation. As a matter of fact, they are just about to get started right now as we speak. The TOs are beginning to educate the people on how to vote. That is what is happening right now. There's a record of late arrival of materials on some of the polling units and late arrival of INEC staff. The voters, on the other hand, some of them came out here as early as 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Some came out by 7 a.m. But some of the INEC officials are just arriving just some minutes to 9 o'clock. And as we speak, the process is about to get started in all of the polling units here in Life Camp.
Okay, so give us a sense of the voter turnout. Is it impressive?
Wow. The voter turnout, from what I gathered, I asked a few people questions. People don't even this morning, they were all full to the brim. And people are still arriving as we speak. So voter turnout is impressive, might be considered an understatement. There's a lot of people here. Maybe as we proceed, I'll send in pictures to the studio.
All right. Thank you so much, Chukwu Ebuka, and thank you for your update. And be safe as you try to get us more information. We will get back to you when voting proper begins. Thank you so much.
I'm standing by, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, it's still Citizens Decide on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. Updates, live updates on the election. Yes, we have an update here from our correspondent, Adirayo Omotosho, who is on ground in Gwarimpa. She says that in Gwarimpa Primary School polling unit, voters are on ground. That was as at 9:06, and that INEC staff are not around, but we have security personnel, members of the FRSC, the NSCDC, and the Nigerian Army Police, EFCC, and other security officials are on ground. So that's the update from the Gwarimpa Primary School from Aderayo or Motosho. We will place a call to Aderayo anytime soon, and she will give us an update of that report, which was sent in about 10 minutes ago.
We are the children of this generation. We are the children of the living God. Listen to the voices of my generation. Listen to the children of the living God. We don't want to fight wars no more. We don't want to shed blood no more. No, we don't want to fight wars no more. I say we don't want to shed blood no more. One more time. We are the children of this celebration. We are the children of the living God. Listen to the voices of my generation. Listen to the children of the living God. Oh, we don't want to fight wars no more. No, we don't want to shed blood no more. Oh, please, we don't want to fight wars no more. My people, we never shed blood no more. Oh, no more wars. We don't want to fight wars no more. We don't want to fight wars no more. Africans should shed blood no more. Africans should fight wars no more. Oh, will you stop all your coup? Allow democracy to reign. I say, will you stop all your trouble? Will you give peace a chance? Nigeria won't fight wars no more. Nigerians don't want fight wars no more. Liberia shouldn't shed blood again. Zimbabwe will never fight wars no more.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Citizen FM 93.7, and it's Citizens Decide. And we are reaching out to our correspondents across the country. I have another of our correspondent here, Ekene Ezepue. He's also a presenter here, but he's on the field today, just like everyone else. Ekene, thank you for standing by.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ekene. Just let us...
Good morning, Mr. Lauren.
Good morning, Ekene. Where are you now? And give us an update. What exactly is happening at your end?
All right, I'm at Karu, Federal Capital Territory, Karu site, precisely, agri-quarters. And things are actually going on fine. The queues are already in place. People are queuing up to exercise their franchise. And a whole lot of other things is actually going on. The INEC actually arrived a little bit late. They're actually supposed to start 8:30, but from all indications, they actually started, unpacking their materials and setting up their materials around 8:56 to be precise. But now, they've actually, shown their empty ballot boxes and all that, empty result sheets and all that, just to show that they are free and they are fair. And everything is going on perfectly. At least the lineup so far is actually getting to 150 at the polling unit at Agri quarter, and a whole lot of other things that we are witnessing here. But there is calm and there is an ample peace in this polling unit.
Okay,
they actually want something from this election. Everybody is trying to help everybody, both the ones that doesn't know their polling units. People are bringing out their phones, trying to browse to show people their polling units and all that. I think people are having problems locating their polling units. But what I've discovered in this particular election is that people are willing to help. People are willing to show people where their new polling units are, and they are doing it with their phone, with their phones. That's what I've noticed. So you can see the enthusiasm.
All right, thank you so much, Ekene. We will get back to you much later in the day. Thank you, and
thank you very much.
And try and be safe.
Thank you very much, Lauren.
All right, that's correspondent on the field today, Ekene Ezepue. Is also a presenter here on Citizen FM. But today, everyone is on the field because it's election day, and the citizens are deciding. We will take more calls from our correspondents across the country, and we are moving up north now. But before then, let's take a little bit of history. Let's look at the history of presidential elections since 1999. The presidential candidates in the past elections. The first presidential election that began the Fourth Republic was held on February 27th, 1999. It was between Olusegun Obasanjo and Olufalaye, who ran on a joint ticket of two political parties. Chief Obasanjo won that election with 18.7 million votes. And Chief Olufalaye scored 11.1 million votes. And the second presidential election was held in 2003, and it had 20 candidates. The third election was in 2007, and it witnessed a decline in the number of presidential candidates. There were 18 candidates in all. While the fourth election in 2011 featured 15 presidential candidates. In the fifth cycle of the presidential election in 2015, 14 candidates were on the ballot. And in 2019 presidential election, it featured the highest number of candidates in Nigeria's history. 73 out of the 91 registered political parties presented their candidates. So that's a brief rundown of how many presidential candidates we've had in the elections since the beginning of the Fourth Republic.
So always reach for the stars. In a life of riches, blessed by nature, glorious history, hope of our tomorrow. You
Thank you for standing by. It's still Citizens Decide on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja, giving you updates on the presidential and national assembly election. We have one of our experts, one of our resource persons. He's also a member of the family. Dr. Akinriti is online.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Akinriti.
Very well, my brother.
Okay, where are you now, and what is happening in your area?
Well, yes, I'm on my way to the office, central, but I'm passing through Maraba. I'm at one of the polling stations. The enthusiasm here is extremely extraordinary. You know, it's quite overwhelming. The INEC are ready. People are already ready to vote. The vote is yet to open. But, honestly, Nigerians want to decide their future. What I can see here, people are sitting down, comfortably. Some people have, food packed to them. Some have water, and they are just waiting for the INEC to start so that they cannot vote. That's the situation on ground. I'm really impressed. The enthusiasm in this area is, I tell you, it's quite good. Top notch.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Okay. Yes, we have Dr. Akinriti back on the line. Dr. Akinriti, please, you can continue.
Yeah, I said, the enthusiasm I said is quite extraordinary. People are extremely ready to decide to choose their new leader, the new president, and then some member of National House of Assembly. I'm at the new market polling unit under Kaluku government along Maraba in National State. I'm also actually on my way to work. Central area, so I tried to make a call at this polling unit. The excitement is quite good, very welcoming. People are talking to are also excited that they just want to decide they are voting right. The people who have moved around, trekking from their homes, some are here with their food packs, water, and then people are extremely happy here and just ready to. Take their decision. They want to take their decision and stand by it. This is quite encouraging.
Well, Dr. Akinriti, I know that you are, apart from being a teacher, a media teacher, you're also experienced in election coverage. Is there anything outstanding about this election?
Absolutely, there are. No, the stake is extremely high, my brother. The four leading candidates are good in their own right. And I think people have obviously make up their mind on who they are going to vote for. So either way, Nigeria wins. That's where I'm looking at it. It's not skewed towards one particular person all the way. So what I see here is that people are just not even ready to discuss with you. They have made up their mind who they are going to vote for, and they are so passionate about it. Of course, the INEC officials are here, and then the party agents are also, happy, try to watch what is really going to happen. So, this election is important because we are going to have a complete change of guard either way, and so people are ready to choose people that they believe can really, make it much more better for them. That's where I'm saying. So the stake is extremely high. This election, and you can see what the ECOWAS observer group said and the EU observer group said, and what the Common said, that Nigeria is extremely important to the world. So all eyes is on Nigeria for this particular election because of the candidates. Number one, number two, the sheer size of Nigeria as a country, and and one of the most popular black nation on earth, and perhaps even in West Africa, Nigeria is the only country other West African countries are looking up to. We are having quite a lot of democratic challenge from some states in Burkina Faso, even in Cote d'Ivoire, things are not really looking very good there. Senegal, things are not looking good. Benin Republic, things are not really looking good, although there are democracies out there. So, but people look up to Nigeria to give us this day, to deliver this hour and make Africa proud. So I don't see Nigeria, falling apart from here. They obviously they will make a decision today, and Nigeria will make the continent proud from the way I look at it.
All right, Dr. Akinreti, you say the stakes are high. Yes, it's a presidential election, but it's also election for the National Assembly election. Are people really aware that we also have election for lawmakers, or is everyone very particular about just that of the president?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Because there are people who know that they are not only going to vote for the president, they're also going to vote for the National Assembly members. So cross-national people I have spoken with here, they know that, they know their candidates. That's what I said. Nobody, quite a lot of people are just keeping mum. Just watching the development. They're just waiting for them to cast their ballot. No one, they are not, although they are changing banters, but they are not talking about candidates at all. Everybody, according to what I'm telling you, we have made up our minds, we know where we are going. Just let them bring the ballot paper, and then we'll do the needful. That's just the way it is. And because I even see on my way when I was even driving ahead, you can even see the banner, the posters of all the political parties are around here. I think that obviously could also guide some on the voters, because as you are driving in here at the roundabout, in that new orange market, the banners of most leading political parties are quite conspicuous. So I think this is also going to help on the side the voters to know where they are really going. But the way I look at it, people are ready to make a choice.
All right, Dr. Akinreti. Finally, before we let you go, it's almost it's about 9:39 now, almost 9:40 now, and if we are to go by the INEC timetable, elections should start by 8:30.
That is it. That's my surprise too. Voting has not started here at all. People are just still walking, from their houses, from their homes, to the polling centers, and the INEC officials are also just starting off. I think maybe in the next 20 minutes, voting could start in this particular polling unit, because all is set. Obviously, all is set. I have that assurance. In the next 20 minutes, polling will start. Voting will start from here.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Akinreti, for your interventions. We are really grateful for the information that you've given to us. We'll get back to you before the end of polls.
Fine. It's service to the nation.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Lawrence. Good morning.
Good morning. Rayo.
Yes, please.
Okay. You are in Gwarimpa, I guess.
Yes, Gwarimpa.
Okay. What is happening? Is there anything new from what you sent to us earlier?
Okay, so I just across the road. Apparently, there are about 3 primary schools here. There's primary school in the village. There's a place called Gwarimpa Village. Okay. And that one seems to have kick-started early. I just sent you a couple of voice notes from 2 senior citizens who I found here who have already voted. Really? As of 9:30, they have done, the lines. They're already voting here, and everything is cool and calm. Like I mentioned in the first message I sent to you, all the security personnel are on ground here, and the area, the atmosphere really is calm, cool, and everyone is excited. And that's in this new polling unit. In the other one, the bigger the secondary school, INEC staff as of now have not arrived there at all, and there's many more people there than in this place. So I discovered that why there are many more people there is because there are about 6 polling units in one. And so I haven't seen any sign of INEC in that area. But there's there are pockets of what they call it, people gathered on the streets, still looking for their names. Some people haven't even, some places there's no list at all. But here, right here in Gwarinpa Village Primary School, the INEC staff are on ground and they're doing their bit.
Rayo, I'm interested in the senior citizens you spoke with. After in the next 2 to 3 minutes, we may have to play their insights. But before then,
yes.
Have you seen first-time voters? Have you interacted with people also who are voting for the first time?
So, yes, I met a young man. In fact, quite a number of them are still looking for their name on the list. So they've just asked me that, just calm down, madam. We'll speak with Citizen FM in a bit, but we haven't found our names on the list. And yes, I did find the first-time voter. So he says to hold on. I'll get you all the details once he finds his name on the list and he's joined the queue. So there are a couple of them around. I've seen today already, but I want them to settle in properly. Then I'll get around to talking with them. But all the other people I've seen are people who have voted before. And they're mostly, the elderly people, really. So once I get more information, I'll let you know. But I've sent you a couple of voice notes that you can play, just to get a feel of things.
Thank you so much, Rayo. We're really grateful for your information.
Well done.
And please stay safe.
I am.
All right. That's our correspondent, Derayo Motosho, who is also a presenter here. And as I said, today, everyone is a field man. So she has brought us up to speed with what is happening in our area there in Gwarinpa. And in fact, it's a mixed bag there. In some polling units, voting has already commenced. In others, they are yet to do that. So it's not all gloomy pictures across the FCT. So in Gwarinpa also, in Karo also earlier, correspondents also told us that voting has taken place in a few places. So we'll keep you updated as the information flows into the studio. Don't forget that this is a live studio on Citizens Decide on Citizen 93.7 Abuja, and also you can join us on our live stream on YouTube by typing in Citizen FM 93.7. If you are on the go and you need to catch all the information, you can also be part of our social media platforms and interact with us on our social media platforms on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM Abuja, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. And let's have your impression. The numbers are still here: 0903 2229 797 or 0818 2222 205 or 0818222206. We have a caller here. Let's see. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Lawrence.
Good morning, sir.
Lawrence, this is Buddy.
Hey, Buddy. Thank you for calling. What's happening in your area, Buddy?
The spirit is high. I'm at checking point this morning, but I think people are still finding their polling units. That's another big thought for the people to find. But the polling unit at the checking point, I think the INEC officials are around and people are checking for their names. And I think they're preparing for the accreditation and voting will soon start. It's about some minutes to 10. And they are here. But my challenge is that you see there is no vehicular movement. But you could see that people are still moving with their vehicular checking point. The police are having a hard time in trying to turn the people's back. I don't know what people are doing with vehicle along the road, along the checking point road, the express all the way from Maraba. I think the police and the authorities need to do something. They have to be stopped all the way from the Maraba market axis for them to move down to checking point. I think that's just a challenge, and the police are having a very hectic time in trying to explain to them. And I don't know if something is not done about it. Probably the military should move around them, some movement should move and support them. If they are not moving, I think something will just go wrong. Because vehicular movement is just going around so much, Lawrence, this morning.
Yeah, I understand that, but even when I was coming to the office today, I left home as early as 5, and the Maraba Nyanya axis, the expressway was already blocked, and we had to spend.
I don't understand.
We had to spend like almost 45 minutes before I was allowed to pass the military checkpoint. So it's part of the things that happen with us as Nigerians. Sometimes people just need to move. And but another thing I gathered also that a lot of people who stay in that area registered in town and they need to come to town to vote.
Yeah, I think that's another challenge.
So
that's another challenge.
That's a major problem that I think people will need to address after this election. People may just need to relocate or as in get their voter units back to where it's close to them so that you can just trek from your house or walk down the street. The intention of the voting is to make voting very seamless and enjoyable.
Yeah, very seamless.
It's not supposed to be stressful.
My challenge this morning.
It's not supposed to be stressful.
Lawrence, my challenge mostly this morning that people are still looking for their polling unit. That is my biggest support for them.
But I knew this will happen because as far back as 3 weeks ago, INEC has been saying this, and we in the media have also been highlighting this, that that is the time for you to go check out your polling unit. If there are problems, ask questions before time. Today is not essentially the day to start looking for your polling unit.
I just stand now. I have to be directing somebody who doesn't even know he was coming all the way from Maraba and I'm looking for it. And his polling unit is just at the checking point. And I have to say, I'm looking now. I told him to just move on. Before I could tell I couldn't even find him again. Maybe he has moved out again. That's the biggest challenge that people are having, looking for their polling unit. I don't know. And the media has been saying it has been on the internet, the Facebook. I don't know if people are there on their Facebook, on their WhatsApp and co. The information has been around. But instead of just taking time to look, but this time they are looking for it's just a challenge, and I hope at the end of the day, but I see the spirit is high, people are willing to vote, but I believe these challenges we can overcome before the close of the day. That's just because something needs to be done at the checking point, because the vehicular movement is not something that is making me happy, Lawrence.
All right.
I brought that madam here to come and do it voting. So that was why I'm reporting from here. I'm calling from now. Probably as the day goes on, I'll call other friends of mine, the one that went to Yanya, the one that went to Tikoya, and could probably give a report at the end of the day, Lawrence. It's a good one.
Thank you so much, buddy. We really enjoy your interventions. Thank you and God bless. And remain safe.
Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Oh, well. That's Body, one of our regular callers, giving us an update on what is happening in the Nyanya Maraba axis. And that was why in the media we kept saying this, that go locate where your polling unit is ahead of the election, before election day. Today's hardly that day, and it would not make any meaning if you went through the pains, the stress of registering, of getting your PVC, and you do not know where your polling unit is and you cannot. Sean, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sure I'm on to Citizens FM.
Exactly, you're right. Who is on the line, please, and where are you calling from?
All right, thank you so very much. My name is Tajudeen. I'm calling from Apo.
Okay, Tajudeen, good morning. What's happening in Apo today? Give us an update.
In fact, it's not encouraging at all. Very, very frustrating. My polling unit is supposed to be, Baba Primary School at Apo here. We have been here, no single INEC official, no security agent, only some election observers that are very much on ground. We have not seen any, INEC official. We have not seen any security personnel here as I'm talking to you at the moment. And this is very frustrating. And the crowd here, so much that you, in fact, only God knows. But we are very, very worried, and people are agitating that they want to see INEC official, and the anger that is building up. I just pray it will not turn to something else in this very area. That's why I'm calling you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tajudeen. We have all right. Hello. Hello. We have another call here. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Lawrence.
Good morning.
Gabriel is my name from New Yanya.
Okay, Gabriel. What's happening in New Yanya? Give us an update, please.
Honestly, we hear out since as early as 6 to 7, and some of the polling units are here. The INEC officials are not even where. I don't know. Is this what the preparation is all about? You know, people are already discouraged about this the whole thing. So today, I don't know. We are told by the INEC chairman that the election will kick off by 8:30, and look at the time. They are not even here yet. And I've been hearing all the complaint from some platform. All of the complaint are the same. I don't know what's happening with the INEC officials. What is keeping them? I don't know. So that is the situation in my place here.
All right, my brother. I feel your pains and frustration, but I would not want you to give up. This is not the time for us to give up.
It's not just about me. It's about other people,
I know. Just encourage other people. Let's just hold on tight. I know that, yes, election from the timetable of INEC election should have started now. But then, sometimes
this is just a problem. This is just a problem. INEC, I don't know.
Sometimes because of the sheer logistic challenge that the electoral body will need.
But there should be preparation ahead of time.
Yes, I know. But sometimes in Nigeria, we just make room for some of these things. It's not the right thing to do, but we need to understand. Let's just put in that extra effort and go through some of that stress just to make sure that we perform our civic duties. I'm sure it's not easy going out of your house to go and stand on the queue for that long. But then, if not for anything else, for the interest of this country, because Nigeria is such a great country, let's make Nigeria a great country. Thank you so much, my brother. And just keep the flag flying. Don't give up yet. Well, we know that some of these things will come up, the issue of logistic challenge by INEC, and we hope that the electoral body and officials of the electoral body will sort out some of these complaints across the FCT. And I know that before 12 elections should be able, I hope that before 12 elections should be able to take place in every polling unit in Abuja and also across the country, because Nigeria is such a great nation and we are the treasure of history. We will take a short break, a breather, and we will return in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Here we stand as a people with one song, with one voice. We're a nation.